this video, we will hear Louise Hay give her insights and enlighten us. Whenever you have negative thoughts reminding you to feel guilty and bad for whatever it is that you have done in your life up till now, always remember that thoughts are only as powerful as you are. They will only ever be as powerful as you because you are the one thinking them. You are the one who is in control and who has the ability to change them. Now that's something to think about. Letting yourself go with the flow of your thoughts is constructive when the flow is based on a positive foundation. Your foundation needs to be solid and strong. It needs to be resilient, and it needs to believe that you are the best that you can be, no matter where it is that you are, no matter what source of wealth and income and beauty you wish to achieve. Your thoughts need to believe that you are already there, that you have all the means in the world to actually change your reality, and you are a person of worth who values himself. Your thoughts need to believe that you have already achieved everything, and that you have the means in the world to actually change your reality, and you are the person of worth who values himself, who values his talents, who values his skills, who understands what really truly matters in this life is that he is honest and faithful to his true self. Someone who understands that circumstances in life are very, very easy to change. However, true healing comes from a person taking all that nurtured him in his past and combining it with everything that he can connect to his best self in the future. When we heal ourselves, we need to incorporate that healing within our hearts, our minds, understanding that it is an everyday process that requires strict dedication and solid sacrifice for us to realize who we are when we are self-actualized. Practicing self-worth affirmations every night is the key to understand oneself and finding a sense of peace, motivation, and purpose every day, all day. We see people around us do something uncommon every day. If you are keen to know how to manifest your best self into your physical reality, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and now let's hear Louise Hay in her own words.
You see, if we are all 100% responsible for everything in our lives, then there is no one to blame. Whatever is happening out there is only a mirror of our own inner thinking. I am not condoning other people's poor behavior, but we must realize it is our beliefs that attract to us people that will treat us that way. If you find yourself saying, everyone always does such and such to me, criticizes me, ignores me, takes advantage of me, or abuses me, then this is your pattern. There is some thought in you that attracts this behavior. On some internal level, you believe you deserve to be treated this way, or you treat other people this way, and it is just coming back to you. Whatever we give out, mental, physical, or verbal, will come back to us. When we no longer think or behave this way, the other people will change their behavior, or they will go and do that to someone else who believes they deserve it. You will no longer be attracting the experiences you say you do not want. Whether we want to change a life experience or a physical problem, the place to begin is to say so. Literally say, I am willing to release the pattern within me that is creating this experience or this condition. You can say this to yourself over and over every time you think of your illness. Say this with me now. I am willing to release the pattern in me that has created this condition. The minute you say this affirmation, you are stepping out of the victim role. You are no longer helpless. You are acknowledging your own power. You are saying, I may not understand it, but somehow I am beginning to understand that I contributed to creating this problem, and now I take my own power back, and I am releasing it and letting it go. What a powerful statement to have your subconscious mind supporting. As I said, resentment of others, criticism of ourselves, guilt over the past, and fear of the future are the most damaging mental thought patterns we can have. This kind of internal dialogue creates and maintains dis-ease in the body. These thoughts can destroy the body. Fear can contribute to baldness, ulcers, colon problems, and even painful feet, among other things. Criticism as a permanent habit can often lead to arthritis in the body. Resentment long held eats away at the body and becomes the dis-ease we call cancer. Guilt always looks for punishment and creates pain. Fear comes from not trusting the process of life to be there for us. You know, the most precious thing in our life is our breath. If you did not take another breath, you would not last 3 minutes. Yet you have such faith that your next breath will be there, that you don't even think about it when you exhale. Now, if the power that created us has given us enough breath to last for as long as we shall live, can we not begin to trust that the rest will also be provided for us? The next time you are frightened, think about the abundance of air and say, I trust the process of life to take care of me. Whenever someone is in pain, I know they have created a lot of guilt for themselves. Chronic pain comes from unrelenting guilt, often so buried that we are not even aware of it anymore. This guilt must be dissolved before the pain can be eliminated. Guilt is a totally useless emotion. It never makes anyone feel better, nor does it change a situation. Your sentence is now over. Let yourself out of prison. Anger combined with guilt often contributes to accidents. The degree of physical damage lets us know how severely we felt we needed to be punished and how long the sentence. Where this pain occurs in the body gives us a clue to which area of life we feel guilty about. Critical people often attract a lot of criticism because it is their pattern to criticize. They are often cursed with perfectionism, the need to be perfect at all times in every situation. Do you know of anyone on this planet who is perfect? I do not. Why do we set up standards that say that we have to be super person in order to be barely acceptable? That is such a heavy burden to carry. When I was a little girl, I had a very difficult childhood. My parents divorced when I was 18 months. I was raped when I was 5. I became a battered child and grew up in the Depression. My mother was very much a victim, and my stepfather constantly expressed his own brutalized childhood. I grew up having a lot of resentment. I had to create cancer in my own body before I was willing to begin to release that resentment. I am certainly not condoning the behavior of any of the people who mistreated me. However, for me to spend a lifetime just running the old movie, Feeling blame and anger and resentment is not doing me any good in the present moment. I learned that resentment only eats away at me, and it did. In my case, holding on to old blame and feeling resentful for all that they did to me helped to create my disease. Releasing and letting go helped me to heal myself. The past is over and done. We cannot change that now. We can change our attitude toward the past and our thoughts toward the past. How foolish for us to punish ourselves in the present moment because someone else hurt us in the long ago past. It's not worth it. I often say to people who have deep resentment patterns, please begin to dissolve the resentment now when it is relatively easy. Don't wait until you're under the threat of a surgeon's knife and you have to cope with panic too. It is vital that we release foolish, outmoded, or negative ideas and beliefs that do not support us and nourish us. Our concepts of ourselves and of life and of God must support us, not negate us. No matter what our disease, if we choose to believe that we are helpless victims and that it is all hopeless, then the universe will support us in that belief and we will just go down the drain. When people come to me with a problem, I don't care what it is, poor health, lack of money, unfulfilling relationships, or stifled creativity, there is only one thing I ever work on, and that is loving the self. I find that when we really love and accept and approve of ourselves exactly as we are, then everything in life flows. It is like little miracles are everywhere. Our health improves, we attract more money, we have better relationships, we begin to express ourselves creatively. I often ask people to look in the mirror and say, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. When they can't do it, or won't do it, or find it painful or silly, then I know they are killing themselves with their own critical thoughts. Do this exercise in a mirror. See what comes up in your mind. Notice how you feel. This may be the center of your problem. Resenting, criticizing, or fearing others and not being willing to love and accept yourself. When we won't love ourselves, it just means that we are still believing the old limitations that someone taught us many years ago. Usually that person was someone who did not know how to make their own life work. But remember, your limiting beliefs are only thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. Let's change them now. The only thing you ever have control over is your current thought. Loving ourselves, to me, begins with never, ever, ever criticizing ourselves for anything. Criticism only locks us into the very pattern we are trying to change. Understanding and being gentle with ourselves helps us move out of it. After all, you have been criticizing yourself for years, and it hasn't worked. Let's try approving of yourself and see what happens. Self-approval and self-acceptance, right here and right now, are the keys to positive changes. It is also important that we release the past and be at least willing to forgive. Love is always the answer to healing and health, and the road to love is through forgiveness. It is imperative for our own healing that we release the past and forgive everyone. We may not know how to forgive, and we may not want to forgive. But because we say we are willing to forgive, we begin the healing process. We do not have to know how to forgive. All we need to do is to be willing to forgive. The universe will take care of the hows. The Course in Miracles says that all disease comes from a state of non-forgiveness, and that whenever we are ill, we need to look around to see who it is that we need to forgive. I know that the very person you find it hardest to forgive is the one you need to let go of the most. Forgiveness means giving up, letting go. It has nothing to do with condoning behavior. It's just letting the whole experience go and coming into the present moment. We understand our pain so well. How hard it is for most of us to understand that they were also in pain and doing the best they could with the understanding and awareness and knowledge they had. In order to heal ourselves, we need to be willing to change our thinking, to forgive others, and to learn to love and accept ourselves more. When we refuse to be willing to love ourselves, then we are denying ourselves our own healing. Self-acceptance and self-approval in the now are the keys to positive changes in our future. One of the ways in which we unknowingly deny ourselves love is to make ourselves wrong, to be critical of what we do or do not do. Even using the word should limits you, and removing it from your vocabulary will make a great difference in your life. It certainly has in mine. Let's take the word should and discard it forever, never to be heard of again. Should is a word that makes a prisoner of us. Every time we use should, we are either making ourselves wrong or someone else wrong. We are in effect saying not good enough, or you have failed, or you are going to fail, or just wrong. Begin to listen to how often this word is used and how crippling it is. Let your understanding and awareness grow and make you free. Replace the word should with the word could. Could lets you know that you have choice, and choice is freedom. We need to be aware that everything we do in life is done by choice. There really is nothing that we have to do. There are always things that it might be best for us to do. However, we always have choice. So now every time you hear yourself using the word should, let a red light go off in your mind. Then gently allow yourself to release it and let it go. Please don't use eliminating should as another excuse to get angry at yourself. All we want is understanding and awareness. Then things will drop away by themselves. You might notice, oh dear, it's 27 times today I've said should. No wonder I'm such a rigid person. Now that would be understanding and awareness and the road to freedom. One of the worst things we can do is to get angry at ourselves. Anger only locks us more rigidly into our patterns. Sometimes we think we have to be angry at ourselves in order to change. You may have been angry at yourself and scolding yourself for years, and still you haven't changed. That is not the way to do it. Think of what happens when we yell and scream at a tiny child. All the joy goes out of their life. And if we yell and scream at them long enough, they literally shrivel and sit in corners, or they tear up the room. The same things happen to the little child within us when we get angry at ourselves. We lose our joy, we lose our creativity, we lose our spontaneity, we lose our freedom and our health. We don't need any more anger. We need more self-acceptance and more self-love. When we can accept ourselves right now, as we are right now, without any criticism or judgment, then we are truly loving ourselves, and the negative patterns must dissolve. If we wait until we have the new job before we love ourselves, or if we wait until we lose weight before we love ourselves, or if we wait until someone else loves us before we love ourselves, then we are denying our existence right now. If we wait until we become perfect before we love ourselves, we waste our lives. We are already the perfect outer expressions of our inner understanding, and we will change. But the changes we make when we love and accept ourselves are always positive. Always. So let's release the anger and all those negative beliefs about ourselves and about life.